there's an issue with the camera, and Kai will entertain you
All right,
for a second. I have got
let's go, everyone. Okay, we got Rodrigo Togores on the Epic Storm. Like this is incredibly nice to see. Rodrigo Togores won a Legacy Grand Prix already with ad nauseum tendrils. A little surprised to see the Epic Storm. But I'm super happy to see Togores to play any Dark Ritual deck. He's 1-0. Versus his opponent on Goblins. All right. You know, someone like I also play a lot of Ad Nauseam Tendrils. And seeing Goblins as my opponent like that must be a really nice feeling, honestly. So the Storm decks have changed these days. Like maybe you remember that sick Grand Prix finals between like Rodrigo Togores and Nicolas Tolans. It was the Ad Nauseam Tendrils versus Countertop Miracles in 2016. Magic has changed, Legacy has changed a bunch, and the Epic Storm is now focusing on a new Storm engine that is called Galvanic Relay. Some people call it like the Red Necropotence. I guess you can say that. You basically you poop out a lot of like cheap artifacts and rituals, cast the Galvanic Relay for X equal like 5, 6, something like maybe like a 7, and recoup card advantage to explode the turn after. Okay, so we got the Goblins on the play, and I do think we do see a Lackey turn 1, which is probably the best card you can play on turn 1, especially against a deck without any creatures in it, right? So Togor is gonna have no blockers available unless he goes for like a Empty the Warrens maybe for a few Goblins. In which case we do have a mirror game, of course. So Mox Opal, Lancer Diamond, Ursa's Bauble, Lotus Petal, and a Fetchland Finding Tiger. This is like a lot of mana. This is like 1, 2, 3. This is 6 mana on turn 1. 4, yes, and there we see it. Galvanic Relay, the newest inclusion, got printed in Modern Masters, Modern Horizons 2, if I'm not mistaken. A really exciting spell. Your opponent also sees what's going on, like all these cards get exiled, and they're available the turn after. So let's see, like what are the biggest thing Asier can put in with this Goblin Lackey?
Well, ideally, Siege Gang Commander, right? But we don't really see that all that much anymore. I mean, Muxus, Goblin Grande, that's what you want to see.
Muxus,
please, give us some more Muxus. We get a Munitions Expert that really doesn't do anything, I would guess, in the matchup. But, okay, what is Rodrigo doing here? You already gave him the proper introduction, like winner of 2 Legacy GPs. Well, one of them was a Team GP. I guess that still counts. Also got the beautiful Mishra's Bobble. And Muxus, yeah, we see Muxus on stream. Like, dude, seriously, Muxus has been one of the coolest additions to Legacy Goblins in basically like 15 years or something.
Yeah.
I can't remember any card that was like cooler. Yeah, I mean, Munitions Expert was like a really good addition, but like coolness levels are through the roof once you go Muxus thing.
Oh, absolutely.
So, Kai, by the way, what do you see? Like, where does Rodrigo take this from here?
So
is this already a kill?
So the cards on the table are the ones that got exiled with the Galvanic Relay, so they will be available next turn. Asier didn't have a Muxus just yet, but I think we're gonna very soon see that in action. It's also probably like the most expensive Goblin.
Do you think we're gonna see that in action? It looks like Rodrigo is about to kill next turn. Like, he can actually use that LED to cast the Ad Nauseam, right? If it's an exile.
Oh yeah.
He needs a second Black Source, but he got the fetch land. So you might just like go straight Ad Nauseam, take almost this entire deck and then take it. Maybe there's also like a deterministic line with Burning Wish. Like, how much mana we got next turn? We got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Like, we can cast like a 4 mana spell of the we were also gonna draw a card of the Bobble, so there's a good chance we'd like pick up a ritual. So maybe we're gonna make it work that way.
Yeah. And for all the viewers, like these cards on the battlefield right now, like these cards are all in exile. And Togores can cast them next turn. However, since they are not in hand, a card like Lion's-Eye Diamond can be cracked to pay for one of those spells, like especially the Ad Nauseam, which is a 5-mana instant, can be played from exile.
Okay, I like
Yeah,
that.
so that Lion's-Eye Diamond pretty much, yeah, looking pretty good as almost like a Black Lotus here.
I like that Asier is actually gonna get that, what's it called, Sling Gang Commander, like basically the 2023 version of Siege Gang Commander these days, because it's probably gonna give him the best way to quickly reduce Rodrigo's life total if should he ever get a turn, right? And right now your whole idea is I wanna shut off Ad Nauseam, but there's really not much Goblins can do about this in the first game at the very least. I think Rodrigo counting up his mana, trying to see, is it worth it to go for it? I mean, it's very much worth it, right? You don't want to give Asier that second trigger on the Goblin Lecky. By the way, did you know Goblin Lecky? When exactly does Goblin Lecky trigger?
Once it deals combat damage, is what
Combat damage to anyone?
to your opponent is what I assume.
You're wrong on both accounts. It triggers not on combat damage, but on any damage. And it also doesn't need to deal damage to your opponent. It can also deal damage to yourself.
Really?
Yeah.
That is really funky. Okay.
So you can put, let's say, Hermetic Study, like just anything. There's probably like better ones, like isn't there? Yeah, there must be other ones. Hermetic Study is the one that allows you to tap a creature to deal damage to anyone. The most common thing is actually Rakdos Charm. We sometimes saw that. Rakdos Charm makes it so that every creature deals 1 damage to its controller.
Oh,
And
God
Rakdos
damn
Charm
it.
sometimes, at times has been a card. So you play that. Goblin Lecky deals 1 damage to you, and then you get to put something into play. It's one of the coolest plays.
That is really spicy, yeah.
Speaking of cool plays, it looks like Rodrigo's about to draw a stack. There's a bunch of like altered, I think that's Rider Flames in there, right? Okay, and he already stopped. It looks like he also stopped the Ad Nauseam. He already got enough mana to go all the way. He's got like 2 Rider Flames, 2 Dark Rituals, another Mox Opal, an LED that can get more mana sources, and LED in the front here that can get more mana. He's probably already there, right? He needs to make a Storm count of 10.
Totally. Like, if there's one person in the room who knows how to play Storm, it's definitely Togores. So because it is also possible that a combo deck fizzles, especially something like an Ad Nauseam deck. It's not too uncommon to see people maybe miss a few points of mana or Storm and end the Ad Nauseam deck too early, but not Togores. I think he has this like perfectly covered up, as we see a Storm count of 10, I believe. So yeah, Tendrils of Agony is pretty much lethal.
Maybe he's got something more spicier. Maybe he's going for Hunting Pack. No, okay, here we go. Tendrils to the face. Goblins pack it in. I mean, the first game series, like it's against, even more so against the Epic Storm, it's probably even harder. Against Ad Nauseam Tendrils, which is usually like a turn slower or something, maybe Goblins can make something work. But against the Epic Storm, unless they go for like Goblins, you have like Goblin Sharpshooter, which I guess nobody plays anymore. It's very much an uphill battle. After sideboarding, if Asier came prepared for this kind of matchup, we're gonna probably like see a ton of cards hit the board face down right now. So it's 4. Is it just 4? Looks like it's 3 and 1. Okay, what do we see here? Is this Mesmeric Fiend? What? No way.
So the Goblin deck is traditionally, I think Goblin deck were either like mono red or like Gruul maybe / splash and green, for even for something like Food Chain. But and we definitely do see the Tigers in here. However, they're also Badlands, so this is like Jaunt Goblins.
Chant Goblins. That's a lifestyle.
That's a commitment, yeah.
Yeah.
So most black cards are pretty good at like at
Except for the
disrupting.
Munitions Expert, right? I guess that one's gonna go out.
Oh, that yeah. Like all the fair goblins have to leave, unfortunately, and
all the fair cops have to leave. Like all of a sudden, it's just like Lecky and Muxus. Everything, guys, where are you? Okay. So there's gonna be a ton of cards actually coming out. So we see actually that is Mesmeric Fiend. I still can't believe it. Like we see it in the Gradle Kogari control decklist sometimes. But well, I mean, obviously you want something that delays the game. Maybe Mindbreak Trap would be really sweet. But even then, you need to kill it somehow. So ideally, you'd have like a quick kill, and then either Mindbreak Trap to delay the game, or you can land something like, I don't know, Nilrod would also like work, even though sometimes the deck can like just play through it by using the rituals and.
Oh, totally, yeah.
Like so from the Storm side, is there anything from Storm side that you wanna bring in against Goblins? Maybe just Bound?
Not really. Yeah, like the turn 1 Lackey into Amoxis is a little terrifying. But other than that, I do think that the Epic Storm is just a little slow, a little faster than the Goblins deck, and if you were looking for really anything, it might be like some bounce spells, maybe some kill spells to maybe like delay the Goblins deck. I'll be worried about something like maybe like Collector Oof if there is such a card, because it is, the Goblins is a Junt deck. Any like null rod effect is kind of spooky.
We're also being told right now by our coverage team that Asier Picon is actually a Goblin specialist, as a lot of Goblins players actually are, right? There are not that many people who go like, oh, today I feel Goblins.
Oh yeah,
Right?
oh yeah.
It's like usually like it's what they've been doing for. I mean, even if I look at my local community, there are guys who've been playing Goblins for literally 20 years. Like that's all they do.
Yeah.
They will sometimes play another deck, but in the end, they know all the Goblins. They got all the Goblins. Didn't we actually like meet a guy 2 days ago who not only has all the Goblins ever printed, but also all the Goblin themed cards ever printed, and all the cards that have a Goblin depicted on them, even though they're not a Goblin. Didn't we
Yeah.
like meet that guy
Yeah.
2 days ago? That's some next level commitment. People don't do that for like what's the ever like wizards. They do it for like goblins and maybe tree fork or what have you. But that's just like what you see with goblin players these days. Okay, Rodrigo. I think was there like an Ad nauseam in hand again? No, I don't think so. Some mana, some discard. Yeah, there's an Ad nauseam in hand once again.
Yeah, very nice. Also a little bit of mana, like 2 lands, a brainstorm, double Thoughtseize. Thoughtseize is nice. Especially against like a turn 1 goblin lackey. If you can take like the best goblin out of the hand.
By the way, we're just learning Asier is actually, you know what the green is for? The green, I mean, we've seen the ignoble hierarch, but you know what else he has? Oh, okay, we see Once Upon a Time, but you know what else he has? He has Gaia's Cradle.
Oh,
This is Goblins of Gaia's Cradle.
that is sick.
Legacy. What a legacy power 9. And I said, like, yeah, I mean, people talk about it's the most powerful card, and Asier is actually like splashing that into Goblin. I mean, I can see it, right? Once you like establish your early Goblin foothold on the board, like Cradle is gonna go insanely crazy. Like you keep your like ringleaders, whatever, you keep them coming, and you make so much mana. Sometimes people play like Food Chain. I think this is not a Food Chain Goblins list from what we've seen.
Oh yeah, like isn't the Guy's Cradle is your food chain, right?
Guy's Cradle is your Food Chain. I like it. I like it. Okay, oh,
Nice. Yeah. Okay.
that's a big one. And that's also a reason, as you mentioned, why you want to bring in this bounce. I mean, the deck can still win through it, as we mentioned. Like, you can't just go like crazy on the rituals, but that's gonna be a big stopping block, and like a lot of stuff that Rodrigo actually has to work around.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, there has been like a change in storm decks. Like the Epic Storm these days. It plays so many cards for 0 mana, like all the baubles, the Lotus Petal and Lion's Eye Diamond, obviously, but also like things like Chromox sometimes. This is a real banger. A Chalice of the Void X equals 0, basically shutting down like all the plastic mana in Togores deck.
Okay, we're just being told that we actually unfortunately dropped a couple of frames. We were just talking about how Asier is not only splashing black, but he's also splashing green for Once Upon a Time, Ignoble Hierarch, and here's the most exciting thing to me, Gaia's Cradle. To me, the most single powerful card in the entire format, and I'm excited to see it in action. Okay, we got the Thoughtseize. What are we? Oh, whoa. Okay, this is interesting. So it looks like the Mock War Marshal actually stayed in. We talked about this on a previous episode of our podcast, Everyday Channel, why Mock War Marshal sometimes stays in, even though it doesn't really do much in a match like this, for example. It's just for critical goblin mass.
Yeah.
And as you see, like you got the slingshot, but I keep like the guy's card. Is it like slingshot commander?
I think it's Sling Gang Commander.
Sling gang commander. Dude,
Yeah.
I invented so many different names for the card over the years.
I mean that's why they hired me, to comment,
Yeah,
to remember goblin names.
You're the living and breathing Strivewall next to me. Thank you. So, Sling Gang Commander. And I mean, this is another card that actually gives you ways to use that critical goblin mass. Also, like we got Scarab Prospector on the table. That's also like another way to use your goblin dark ritual, I guess.
Yeah.
What do you take here? Do you take the slingshots?
I would probably go for the payout, the payoff. There's a lot of like lands in Asier's hand, and I think if I was Togores, I would probably be looking for really anything that can delay the game a little bit until to a point where Togores maybe eventually finds like a bounce spell for that Chalice of the Void.
You know what I'm gonna be interested in? I'm going to be interested in whether Rodrigo actually plays his second Thoughtseize here. Because he knew that Asier was sitting on only lands at this point, plus an unknown card. And is it worth it to fire this off and take the extra damage?
It's
Or
rough, man.
do you
Yeah.
wait? I mean, I can see waiting, right?
Yeah. Like the brainstorm is already in hand, and thoughts can very well, be one of the cards that go back into the library. Um, I think for the most part, the thoughts is just there to just check if Azir has anything like super explosive or something disruptive. And unfortunately, like the Chalice of the Void has already been played on the first turn. So the thought is, yeah, it doesn't really look that appealing anymore.
It's going to be interesting. We're being told that Asier built this deck to maximize the odds of getting a turn 2 Maxis, or I guess technically, yeah, turn 2 is the fastest we can do. He already has Ancient Tomb in hand. That was the pickup for the last turn. So he's definitely going to have enough mana. I mean, he already has enough mana on board. He's got 5 mana on board with the Scrap Prospector to get a Maxis out. So, dude, that's what I want to see. I want to see Maxis from the top, just for the explosiveness of it. Okay, Rodrigo, thinking about this. Yeah, the awkward part about the brainstorm, of course, is you can't play the brainstorm with your Badlands. So in a way, you want to get like another fetch land down before you go for your next brainstorm. But if you feel that you're very close to comboing off, and you think like, if only this brainstorm gives me another ritual, then maybe you do it.
I mean, there's still the ad nauseam in hand, and like I can totally feel Togores here. Like the longer he waits, the worse the ad nauseam becomes, right? So like his life totals are really like a resource here in this game. And while like Mock War Marshal isn't really that threatening, it's still a Delver attack a turn. Like if Azir ever finds like a Lord effect, maybe like a Chieftain or something like that, it can be like a decent amount of damage.
By the way, Kai, did you expect, when we came here to commentate the tournament, did you expect anybody on today's stream to play Echo?
Oh,
like, there's
no,
like Pouncing Jaguar, I don't know, what ones, Kai Buddha's invitational card, the Riders, Avalanche Riders, yeah, no. But Mark Warmarshall still sticking around, carrying the Echo flag.
Yeah. And I thought like Echo was made to, for people to just not pay. You get the option to pay, but you never pay.
Is that how you think about Echo? Whoa, look at that. Old frame, foil, abrupt decay on the Chalice of the Void. All of a sudden, everything in the deck has been unlocked once again. Oh, and when I'm sitting across from a Storm player and they move this fast after drawing the card, they immediately crack the fetch land. You know the mannerism of it all, it tells you you're dead. Okay. Passing the deck, cutting it, and Rodrigo's got like... Okay, we're starting on the brainstorm though.
Yeah.
Picking up 2 more brainstorms? No, a brainstorm,
Infernal Tutor and a Rite of Flame, I believe.
I thought it was a Rite of Flame, yeah.
Yeah. Togores was probably looking for like, a number of dark rituals here instead. To fire off this ad nauseum.
I mean, technically there's like Infernal Tutor for an additional copy of Rite of Flame, which also shuffles for the brainstorm, so maybe that's the play. That might give you, you're gonna have double black next turn. That's gonna give you ad nauseam next turn. Of course, you go down to at least 11 on the next attack, so I think 11 is still manageable, especially in the Epic Storm. After sideboarding, maybe a little bit harder because you bring in some bounce spells for 2 mana. But overall, yeah, it looks like, dude, seriously, call me Stormmaster.
Damn.
What is this?
Damn. There's the
Dude, I'm taking out the commentator seat. I'm gonna build my own Epic Storm deck and then fail miserably because I don't know where to go from here.
Impact returns, commentators, Storm Masters, really.
I mean, at least one of ours. One of us.
I mean, yeah, it's not me, so
So what's going on here? What's the alteration, by the way, on that? Wait, okay. For a second, I was like, we're gonna go straight into it. No,
yeah,
just playing around another copy of Chalice of the Void.
So Togores is like, he's gonna take another big hit here. Actually, the hit is like all right, like it's like 3 points for now, but Togores is still aiming for that ad nauseam next turn on a low life total. However, the Rite of Flames also add up to mana, right? The first one only adds 2 red mana. The second one adds
3.
3, yeah, 1 in addition for every Rite of Flame that's in the graveyard.
Wouldn't you dream about that with Dark Ritual? Like your Dark Rituals add extra mana if there's like other Dark Rituals in the graveyard already.
Dude, I've been waiting for a ritual that produces 4 mana, like for them.
Or her Storm. Ritual Storm, yeah, dude. Yeah,
okay.
That's what we do. Unfortunately for RCA, Stone Cold nothing. Drops the mana, but can really only get in for some amount of damage. We are dropping Rodrigo down to 9. And yeah, 9 is where I feel still like pretty good about him. I think it's really hard to say. What are the dots? I mean, Galvanic Relay is kind of annoying because it's like 3, and if you had like an early Galvanic Relay on the Ad Nauseam, it can be somewhat dicey. Okay, let's see. Oh yeah. We gotta play the second Rite of Flame first. Okay, sure. Yeah, we got that. And now, yeah, here comes the Ad Nauseam. Okay, let's count. We're on 9.
So yeah, so I think we got a 1 red mana left in a mana pool here. Because the second Rite of Flame again was technically a red Dark Ritual.
Yeah, we got Run Red floating. Yeah, counting through it. Honestly, though, Rite of Flame still, even though it's technically kind of easy, it still sometimes gives me headaches.
Yeah.
Okay, so we go to 7. Still 7. 6.
Oh wow, those flips
that's good stuff.
are gas. Lionside Diamond is like one of the best cards to flip off Ad Nauseam, especially in combination with like a tutor effect, which we got Burning Wish.
Yeah, I'm wondering whether you already got it. Like he's got, what's the storm? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Tutor is 8. Burning Wish is 8. 9, 10. So much money. Got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 mana. Can you? I think you already got it.
Yeah, and he just stops right there.
Yeah.
No need to expose yourself to something like a lightning bolt maybe, or like any yeah, like you know, like all these cards are honestly, like I don't even know what a goblin deck looks like these days, and I wouldn't be surprised if they are like cards like lightning bolt. So
It looks like Rodrigo. But the thing is, he's got that thought. How? Oh, you played a land for. Okay, yeah. I guess if you play a land for the turn, you played the Underground Sea for the turn. That makes sense. Okay, sure. So he went down to what did he say? Like 6. So now he goes to 4. That's still outside lightning bolt territory, and now he's got like perfect information, right? He sees Asier is holding 2 more lands. Oh, rough. That's pretty rough. Goes for all stuff. Also, that's like the additional storm count, so you don't even need to do any kind of like burning wish for tutor shenanigans or something. He just goes straight into the combo.
yeah, and that should probably wrap up this round. Yeah. Damn. What a like masterfully played. And such a beautiful deck. I like we keep saying it, but every deck in this tournament is like either like I don't know, Guru lands, or it's like completely foiled out, or black border duels, or
at the very least, right?
Yeah, it's like
they actually have a
like that's
thing,
like
the entrance. You can queue up in 2 lines. One line is for people with white border duels, and the other line is for people with black border duels.
Seriously.
And nobody was even the white border duels line.
Seriously. I've rarely seen a tournament like this where people have so beautiful decks.
Chains of Mephistopheles. Old classic. Okay, so that's actually what he brought in. He brought in 3 copies of Chalice and 1 Chains of Mephistopheles. Not the greatest, right? But let's see. I think we're about to cut to our backup feature match. So let's see what we got there going on. This one was pretty quick.